Well, from branding to advertising, and Portfolio Night is likened to a speed dating event for the advertising industry, where the best of the business get to meet the new generation of creative students who show their portfolio off in 15-minute increments. It's being hosted here in Johannesburg by the McCann agency, and the man on whose desk it falls is the Chief Creative Officer, Pierre Odendaal, who's with us now. Pierre, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Great idea. What's the thinking behind it?
The thinking behind Portfolio Night is it's a concept that was born overseas roughly about 11 years ago. So Portfolio Night in its 11th year in inception globally. There was a guy called Ignacio Oriamundo, who's actually from the Art Directors Club, and he realized that there was a big disconnect between students not being able to actually get in touch or showcase their portfolios to sort of the, let's call it the creative leaders of our industry, who are generally actually very, very busy. Because most students, when they actually go and look for a job, end up actually speaking to the HR department before they actually get to speak to a creative. So if you don't have that connection, how can you actually get people or the great creative leaders to actually spot the young talent when they actually can't actually physically get to meet them? So he came up with this concept called Portfolio Night, which is where he actually said, okay, let's get some of the creative leaders in our industry who are actually showcasing, creating, making the best creative in the country to actually meet and greet and chat to the students.
And the idea behind this is to find the diamonds in the rough, hopefully hire them and get them in at the ground floor and pay them a reasonable rate.
Yes. Yeah. And at the same time, I think, Jeremy, just to add to that, what's also important is this is actually very much for the student. You know what I mean? This is to help them, to actually help them with their book. So in a couple of months, when they finish studying, they're going to have had valuable inputs on their piece of work that they've shown. Is it a radio ad? Is it a TV ad? Is it a print poster? The color might be wrong. The typography could have been better. The actual idea behind their idea could actually have been tweaked a little bit with some valuable input. Now those students out there finally get that opportunity and that chance to actually have that input.
Tough call for a young student to come and showcase their work in 15 minutes to hardened, bitten people like yourself and your contemporaries. I guess putting them under pressure is part of the whole deal, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, I mean, this is almost like you could look at it as, like I say, you know, like with speed dating, when you've got to sit down...
Speak for yourself, I've never done it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I haven't done it too. But for a young student to actually have to think on their feet for their first time, it's great practice for when you actually go out there and get a job, but at the same time to be very clear, concise, to convey that idea, that portfolio piece, those few pieces of work in your book to that creative director sitting opposite you. I think that's an amazing opportunity.
Has this met, as you said, it's a global event, has this met with huge success in the 11 years prior to this in other markets?
Yeah, and I think just the fact that it's in its 11th year, it stands testament to the actual concept. So at the moment there's roughly about 35 countries with about 50 cities partaking. So a city in a country is called a host city. And yeah, I mean, it's run by the Art Directors Club, which, like I say, is one of the most premier and austere creative bodies in the world. You know what I mean? They help and push the level of creativity globally to actually help all of us do a better job and actually get a better product out there.
I hate this term African creativity, but creativity designed for a specific market is important. You've got to have, they've got to understand the market and the insight within which they're working.
Yes.
When you're looking at these young students who are standing up and they have their 15 minutes of fame, what are you specifically as a creative person yourself looking for?
I think me as a creative, what I'm looking for is someone who's very passionate about what they do.
Got to love it.
Yes, you've got to love it. I mean, think about it. This is your career for the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life. I mean, if you're going to get into something like that, show your passion for what you're on about, show the passion for your ideas, because creativity means being creative. So you might as well be creative with your actual work itself, be that as a copywriter, as an art director, whatever scope that may be in.
Well, we look forward to having our cameras at the event. Now let's stay with advertising, and Johnnie Walker South Africa has launched its latest ad campaign, which contributes to the global Keep Walking vision. The brand believes South Africans have accomplished many great achievements and continue to inspire and achieve greatness. They also need to be reminded, says the campaign, of these moments. The TV ad was developed by the King James Agency in Cape Town. Let's go behind the scenes.
Every day, we walk through environments where incredible things have happened.
What we wanted to do was to take the viewer on a journey of these physical places and to populate these environments with the achievements, the memories, and the ghosts of yesteryear.
Our core in Johnnie Walker is to be pioneering and progressive, And the way the ad is constructed, as well as the techniques that we use in the ad, is designed to be in line with that.
The idea was to create images that had a photographic long exposure field. So to do that, we ended up shooting at a very high frame rate and having to shoot multiple passes of the same thing.
So shooting everything separately, we are able to fade up and reduce the opacity of each and every person in the room. So what happens is our strider will always remain solid throughout the ad, but as he walks through the scene, the whole historic event suddenly gets recreated, and these almost like ghostly images of history get projected back onto this environment.
It's a huge production. I mean, I walked into the set for the first day and I was like, wow, are we shooting something that's epic here?
We had hundreds of extras, helicopter shots, motion control rigs, but the biggest task was just ensuring that we honored the actual events and how they happened. From the styling, clothing, even the hair and makeup, we had to be as accurate as we could.
We were very cognizant of the fact that we didn't want this to only be about achievements that had happened. And so the ending is probably the most important part of this particular piece.
It is not only about what we've done in the past, it's getting people to realize how much creativity and capacity that we have as individuals in the country. If we could do it before, we can do it again.
Johnnie Walker as a brand has always stood for personal progress, and now we're looking to mobilize the country into realizing the potential that we really have in our diversity and the way that we tackle problems, and really continuing to just keep stepping forward and keep walking.
And finally, just a huge thank you to my phenomenal team at King James. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you, and you truly do know how to make magic happen.
It's been a long run to get to where we are now. A lot of blood, sweat and tears, but thank you to everybody that's been involved. You guys have really been champions, and it is going to be a great ad. It's going to be a great launch because we've worked together so well. So thank you.
Now, the better the ad these days, the more likely we are to talk about it and then look at it online. So what have South Africans been engaging with? Here now are the most popular local ads on YouTube over the past month.
So with this new contract, I can make as many calls as I like for like 2K a month.
It's limitless. Limitless? Really? It's not even a word.
What do you mean? What's wrong with that?
I think the word you're looking for is unlimited. I'm with Telkom Mobile. I get unlimited calls to all cell phones, all landlines, any time of the day, anywhere in SA, 1199 a month.
1,199 cash rights.
Yes. Well, that's believable, Les. Dude, go to a Telkom store, check it out. Okay? By the way, I'm drinkless.
I'm going to have to sell this car
and buy a new one.
Huawei E5331 internet router that connects 8 people at once through Wi-Fi.
You and me at the edge of the world with a pretty secret smile for me to see, Blue, bright whites and a cage full of ice and a naked little can be defeated.
Oh, it's okay, Nunu. Mommy's just going to have to buy a new car.
Well, you can let us know what you think of the nation's advertising taste as well as the new Johnnie Walker concept on our Facebook page on this address. Remember as well, my weekly column on enca.com and the show on Twitter 24/7.
News that moves. enca.com.